The MTW Limited Edition is an exclusive project from Wolverine Airsoft, based on the flagship Forged Series MTW. Only 250 of these beautiful guns will be manufactured. The limited edition includes a wide range of special features, beginning with the burnt bronze Cerakote. Each lower has a custom deep engraving with the limited edition and one of 250 unique serial number on the lower. They will also come with our new CNC hop-up, paired with a ZCI 6.02 285mm barrel and a Maple Leaf 70-degree hop-up rubber. The limited edition will be powered by the legendary Gen 2 Inferno and will include a new premium trigger board which features an optical selector switch for improved durability.
Each MTW Limited Edition will ship with a bronze challenge coin, with a specific serial number matching your rifle, as well as a certificate of authenticity signed by Rich. In addition to the Wolverine Airsoft website, the limited edition will be released at a simultaneous worldwide launch with a number of participating dealers.
Creating the limited edition MTW truly has been a labor of love, and we hope that you will enjoy it as much as we have enjoyed making this one-of-a-kind MTW masterpiece.
it to your liking, sir?
Do you have anything stronger?
I believe we can accommodate. Do you need compact or firepower?
Actually, I was hoping for a bit of both.
I believe I have just the thing.
Hit. Johnny, Paul, get back to work. The MTW Limited Edition is an exclusive project from Wolverine Airsoft, based on the flagship Forged Series MTW. Only 250 of these beautiful guns will be manufactured. The limited edition includes a wide range of special features, beginning with the burnt bronze Cerakote. Each lower has a custom deep engraving with the limited edition and one of 250 unique serial number on the lower. They will also come with our new CNC hop-up, paired with a ZCI 6.02 285mm barrel and a Maple Leaf 70-degree hop-up rubber. The limited edition will be powered by the legendary Gen 2 Inferno and will include a new premium trigger board which features an optical selector switch for improved durability.
Each MTW Limited Edition will ship with a bronze challenge coin, with a specific serial number matching your rifle, as well as a certificate of authenticity signed by Rich. In addition to the Wolverine Airsoft website, the limited edition will be released at a simultaneous worldwide launch with a number of participating dealers.
Creating the limited edition MTW truly has been a labor of love, and we hope that you will enjoy it as much as we have enjoyed making this one-of-a-kind MTW masterpiece. we doing, everybody? Hop on over here to comments section. Michael, what's going on? Oddly, we don't have any comments on Facebook yet. Why aren't they showing up? How's everybody doing? I'm flying solo right at the moment today. But we actually are going to have a guest on later today. So go ahead and hop on, throw your comments up on Facebook or YouTube. Let me know what you want to talk about today. We have a guest showing up. He's a sponsored player. Known him for quite a few years now. And we're gonna have some fun, see what he's been up to. I haven't talked to him in a while, so it'll be fun to catch up. And you can quiz him, quiz me, tell me what you want to talk about today. Mark says, what's up from Germany? How's it going, Mark? There's a bunch up. We are kicking butt and taking names. It's been a good year. Busy year, challenging year, but a good year. Juan says, happy St. Patty's Day. You see, I am very diplomatically not wearing orange or green. I'm wearing gray. So, Let's see. We got a beer of the day is Einstock Toasted Porter. It's a good one. If you haven't had Einstock, you should check them out. They're good stuff. Trell says, hey, what's up? Somebody said hello from the Netherlands. How's it going over there in the Netherlands? Airflow said he just recovered from a week of COVID. Yep, that's how it goes. It's well, what's funny is my Facebook is acting up right now. I'm going to refresh Facebook. Sorry, I'm totally disjointed today. There we go. Okay, we're still way behind, but... So yeah, we've been super busy. Lots of fun stuff. Did anybody watch 2 minutes and 37 seconds of silence? Because we accidentally posted a live video that had absolutely nothing in it last week, and we decided rather than taking it down, we'd just leave it up there, and if you all needed some Zen time to relax and chill, then it was all good. AJ says, super stoked. Again, kudos to you, Rich, and your awesome team. Thank you, sir. It's been a ride. We appreciate all the support, but we have lots of new stuff coming out this year, and even more stuff hopefully later this year. Is it a brewski? Yes, it is. Einstock Icelandic Toasted Porter. Einstock is a brewery out of Iceland. They're quite good. Michael said he watched it 2 times. Yeah, I figured somebody would enjoy it. So there's actually a famous piece of music by John Cage, I think, that is like 4 minutes and something seconds of silence, and so we just figured, we'll leave it up there. Here he is. How's it going, man?
It goes.
You gonna show up and just jump right on the stream?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead and hop in here. Oh, man. So you're sitting at the computer now, so, whatever, you're going to have to... Do you want to switch? So here, why don't we switch? That way I'll steer the computer.
All right.
All right. So those of you that don't know him, this is Robert from TDZ. So go ahead and tell them about yourself.
So I'm Rob, aka Jaws, one of the founders of Team Danger Zone. We were among the first sponsors / collaborators at Wolverine, and we've been proud to do some beta testing and promotion stuff and use the excellent products.
Dude, some of my favorite airsoft gaming time was it Shelby 2 or 3?
I think that was 3.
Was that 3, dude? I was down at Black Sheep Shelby, and the TDZ was on the opposite side, and we went at it all game long. I mean, it was I don't know how many times we ran into each other, but it was a good time. Really good firefights. Had a good time doing that. So it's been a while. What you been up to, man?
Oh, I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life.
Aren't we all?
Making some huge changes professionally, looking for a new place to land, and I've been doing some local play and some more events, and falling in love with the sport again. Adult freeze tag is a really good time. I haven't been doing enough of it.
Yeah, I hear you. It's been. I'm still trying to get out to like 1 or 2 like big events a year. Is sort of my goal. Just like it's hard to get out to a ton because I mean family and kids and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It makes it hard to go for a weekend and just be gone because I'm going to work all week and then it's like, well, I'm going to be gone for the weekend.
Contrary to popular belief, you don't do airsoft for a living, right? You run a business.
that is funny. People are, and it's true, but like I met with my patent attorney yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
I met with my patent attorney yesterday, and we had like 3 different things we were looking to patent, and he just started laughing at one point. He's like, "You guys have too much fun." I was like, "Well,
yeah,
I mean, yes,
some of it's fun,
yes,
right?
but it's a job. You know, it's work. It's there's a lot that goes into it." Juan is giving you a shout out.
Hey, Juan.
I still don't think I've ever met Juan in person.
Oh yeah, he's fun.
We
played together a few times.
I don't think you can correct me if I'm wrong, Juan, but I do not think we've actually met like at an event or anything yet. I think he's maybe coming down for the summit though this summer, so that should be
that's
fun.
great. I got to give Dion a shout out too. This is a fun story. I'll try to keep it short. I had a Gen 1 MTW I'm working on. I had the thing at like 100 plus PSI and it's only shooting 140 FPS. And it's one of my personal guns, so I know it's set up right. I know it's been built right. I've been using it for years. It's always shot great. So I'm tearing the thing apart, looking for seals, everything. I had the gun apart and back together 3 times. I got the voltmeter out, testing batteries. I'm checking, like I'm running the wiring, looking for nicks. I'm going nuts with this thing. And finally, I got to a point. I messaged Dion. I said, "Hey, do you have any ideas? I've completely exhausted my expertise here." And he's like, "You need to set the dwell." I was like, God, fuck. Pardon my language, but yeah, man, I spent like 2 days wrenching on that thing for a 10-second problem. Apparently, it had dumped its dwell setting.
It is one of the yeah. It's really easy to get tunnel vision on stuff when you're teching stuff, whether it's airsoft guns or like I do that working on cars sometimes, just like beating your head against the wall.
No.
Like, what the heck is going on? Why is this not working? And then it's like, oh. Well, if I actually just took a step back and like it's not actually that hard. I just was focused on one thing and couldn't come up with it. So Casper says, "Yo, Kiernan said shot my 7-inch MTW at distance yesterday and it was amazing. Haven't fielded it yet because my local field is building on the new field, but soon I will be able to. Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think the shorties are totally underutilized.
A high recommendation on the little ones.
Yeah.
Run the real heavy ammo.
Yes.
If you want to treat yourself, try something at a 4 or whatever your mags will handle without mid-cap syndrome. But I've got a gun with a 4-inch inner barrel, and I load that thing with 4s and 4.3s.
You want a beer?
I can't actually. I got a medical thing now.
Yeah,
I don't drink
you're good.
beer anymore. But I did bring some excellent brandy. If I can steal a glass, I'll drink that. And you're welcome to join me.
I will. I will see whether somebody can track down a glass for us. Somebody's usually listening on this stream, so we'll see if somebody can grab us one. Yeah, let's see. Scanning through. I watched it and thought it's something artistic or in date or something. Yeah. No, it literally was an accidental stream. We have no idea how it even happened because it was the 2 minutes and 37 seconds of silence video that got posted.
Okay.
Because somehow at the end of the stream last week, it posted to YouTube this 2 minutes and 37 seconds of black silence. It was nuts. And rather than take it down, we were like, let's just rename the video 2 minutes and 37 seconds of silence. So it was a total accident, but it was fun. Is it safe to say that when your tank is low on air, like almost empty, that's when you have to set the dwell again after connecting a fresh tank? No, if your tank, the electronics, you don't have to change your dwell setting if you run out of air. Just refill the tank and go. I mean, you shouldn't have to change the dwell unless you're, you're changing setup, or if it's actually set up correctly. If you change your setup, different BB weight, different barrel length, something like that. But just running out of air and refilling, doesn't matter.
And just to be clear about the issue I was talking about earlier, I have a weird setup on this gun with a bunch of extra switches and wires that aren't normal because I have a battery disconnect and an on-gun charge system that I built for myself. So I must have put it into programming mode and changed the dwell myself accidentally.
Right. Yeah.
It's not something that you should have to set very often. As long as you're shooting the same weight, it should be set at once and forget it for years at minimum.
Yeah. There's the dwell setting, the rate of fire, all the system settings are stored in solid state memory. So if you unplug the battery, plug it back in, it doesn't matter as long as you don't. But you can. It happens to people from time to time. There you go.
Nice. Awesome. No, nice. Thanks.
It can be. You can accidentally go into setting mode and change something without intending to. So what you got?
So this is Moldovan brandy that I decided to try. I'm typically a cognac drinker, and I've converted to cognac mostly from whiskeys. My father loved cognac, and I'm not allowed to drink whiskey anymore. That's a long conversation, but we can have it after the stream if you like.
Yeah, I'll definitely try some.
I was sold out. Well, go first. I won't.
No, go ahead. I'll grab some after the stream. You're good.
All right, fair enough.
I got my beer. You drink your brandy.
Well, so the cognacs were sold out, and I saw this and decided to try it, and it's really, really quite good for the money. So anybody, if you're a whiskey drinker, cognacs and similar brandies are distilled, and they have a very similar character to whiskey. They're worth trying.
Huh. I have never really gotten into brandy, so I'll have to give it a try. Marty says, "Afternoon, gentlemen. Please make a straight grip for the MTW. There's little to no options for AEG mounted grips. Straight grip for the MTW. Not sure what you mean like that. The MTW will fit any real steel grip. So if you want a more vertical grip, there's lots of options from the so the AR market for more vertical, like a K grip from Magpul.
Yeah, the Magpul K2. You could also look at Hogue makes some 45 grips, and there's a few companies, boutique, that make a 45 grip exactly to the measurements of a 1911's grip that actually take 1911 grip panels.
Interesting.
I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I've definitely seen that in the wild.
Oh my word. Mega Chicken Punch says, the limit in my country is 1.9 joules, but I don't like long replicas. Should I go 7-inch version, or is the stock barrel too short to realistically use such power? I don't know why y'all are shooting each other for at 1.9 joules with a.
So for us U.S. players, 1.9 is a little hot.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. Somewhere in the course of doing this, because I remember when I was like when I was playing when I was a teenager, it was always the game of like you had to be right at the FPS limit, and you had to be like right there, and if you weren't, then it was no good. And somewhere along the way, it sort of transitioned to like, well, I mean, if you're in the general ballpark.
We did used to play a lot of 1.8 no MED. That used to be the standard.
That'll
here.
tear you up.
It will.
It'll tear you up pretty good.
But
you come from a paintball background, so you're used to getting pretty stuff hitting pretty hard.
People ask me all the time which one hurts worse, and I just tell them depends on where you're getting shot.
Yep. Absolutely. You can hit 1.9 joules on a 7-inch, but you'll be pretty high on the pressure range. Might want to look at a 10-inch.
So
10
yeah,
inch will very easily do it.
my recommendation for that, for pressure and air efficiency, obviously Rich is by far the expert, but for 1.9 joules on a short gun, I want a 300 mil inner barrel.
Yeah.
At a 602 or a 603, I want a 300 mil inner. So you're looking at a 10 inch.
Yeah. That you can do it, but you get there's sort of your air efficiency is not quite exponential decline, but pretty close to it. At a higher pressure, you have to run, you know, 1.3 joules. You can run pretty efficiently on a 7-inch gun. You start getting up to having to run 130, 140 psi, and your efficiency, especially on a short barrel, just really, really goes down. So I'd probably run a 10-inch barrel if I was going to be running that hot. Let's see. Karen says I'm running HPA 8.3 BBs, PDI 229 inner barrel, GNG, yada yada yada. Think I might try those, but think I might try those, but people where I play don't like heavyweight BBs when clearing buildings. Heavyweight BBs do hit harder at the end. That's not even at the same energy, they still feel like they hit harder, just because they transfer energy more effectively.
Well, if you don't mind, I've got something for this. I mean, obviously, 0.3 I wouldn't consider to be particularly heavy, not by modern standards. We run 3.6s a lot for Zero Med Milsim stuff, but that's typically an all-adult audience.
Yep.
What I would say is if you're playing indoor, or you're playing up close a lot, or like little paintball field style villages where your furthest shot is 75 feet, you don't need to run that heavy. And there is a serious benefit to running lighter ammo, which is it's moving faster at the same joule, right? So if you're gunfighting, you're snap shooting one person against the other, going back and forth off corners, your ammo is clearing the distance faster than theirs is at a lighter weight.
Yep.
And this is a reason why at Milsims, the guys on my team, if they're running sidearms, they typically run a lighter weight, like a 2.5 or a 2.8 in the sidearm, and then the primaries are getting the heavier 3.2, 3.6, and higher stuff. But consider that heavy is not always the best solution. That being said, what people like and what is acceptable are not always the same thing, right? Can't please everyone. So if it's site legal to play with a 0.3, it should be probably fine to do so. We just say, be courteous, right? If it's birthday kids, if it's 10-year-olds, maybe change your play style, turn your gun down. But if it's you and a bunch of other, I'm touching 40, and when I'm playing against people my age, I pull 0 punches.
Yeah. Well, and it's also different. I mean, the difference playing at a Milsim event,
right?
The kit is relevant to energy level as well,
right?
Because most in general, you're getting shot somewhere center of mass most of the time, or if it's a solid hit. If it's not, you may catch a glance, like they just barely grab your arm or something like that. Okay, not that big a deal. But if it's a solid direct hit where it's transferring energy, it's generally kind of center of mass. And most people playing at Milsim are running some sort of complete kit. And so you feel it, but it doesn't hit the same way as the 15-year-old out there in a t-shirt that you just nailed in the chest from point blank with a heavyweight BBs. That hurts a lot more. So different situations.
I would challenge you a little bit and say if you're playing right, you're probably getting shot in the side of your head and your support hand most often.
Absolutely. That's absolutely.
all they should be seeing.
But I guess my point is those are usually glancing hits anyway. Yeah. So support hand you can get nailed pretty bad regardless. Yeah. But generally the ones where you're just you're peeking around and you kind of get clipped. It's a glancing blow. It's not direct. The direct hits are usually somebody blindsides you. Right. Yeah, you're looking this way and he comes around the building behind you and nails you in the back.
Yeah.
Well, he hits you in the backpack because you got a backpack on, you got a plate carrier, and that's what you got. Yeah. It's and in the head case, most people at Milsim run a helmet.
Yeah.
Or
true.
At least a hat and something.
Or are aware of and accepting of the risk.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of people playing that type of game that aren't expecting to get shot up. Obviously, it's a game of honor and courtesy first, right? And so the point is, choose what you need to choose to make sure that you're having a great time and that everybody you're playing with is having a great time. But also, if people are just whining because you have good equipment and a good setup and you're catching them off guard a lot, maybe don't take that to the bank.
Yeah, that's their problem. Let's see. I had a question up here. Do we plan on launching a Forged but 7-inch version? I don't know. We've discussed that. We are planning to relaunch Forged later this year. I've mentioned this on a couple streams up till now, but there is we have gotten our hands on some forgings, so we are going to be able to relaunch the Forged line. We actually were just having this discussion the other day. Should we do a 7-inch version of the Forged? You can give us your thoughts. Not really sure. We're trying, as we're continuing to grow, we're trying to find the right balance between offering enough options and not offering stuff that 3 people want to buy, because you just can't can't justify it.
Here's a question for that. Do you make the outer barrels available?
Yes, the outer barrels are separately available.
Okay. Yeah, I know they've been in the past. I wasn't sure with supply chain where that was at now. But yeah, if you want a 7-inch forged, you are an outer barrel, an inner barrel, and a rail away from making that happen.
If you want to even go with the shorter rail. Some people would want the 7-inch barrel and then just run a suppressor inside the 10-inch rail.
Talk it.
It's definitely doable. It just depends on what you want to do. But we try to balance, what's the... we want to offer enough stuff that most people can order something that's really close to what they want, but we're still a small company. We can't offer 800 models that are all just a tiny bit different, and most of those only a tiny number of people order. See what else we got on here. Evening from the UK. Jens, treated myself to a Forged Wolverine 10.3 the other day. No going back to anything else. What a beast.
Yeah. Welcome to the club. A bunch of us feel that way.
Yeah. It really is hard. It's really hard once you get used to running the MTW platform to justify going back to anything else. Like, if you're at all pragmatic, if all you care about is a certain aesthetic and hey, this model has this particular, then, but if you're at all, pragmatic about sort of performance, serviceability, durability, stuff like that, it's just so hard to go back. There's just so many things that are just easy to do with it. And some of it's not even stuff that maybe a lot of people think about right up front. Like, one of the things I realized really quickly once I started designing, and we had prototypes in and I was working on them all the time, first round of prototypes, was I can actually work on this like it's a real thing. I don't have to baby every little piece of this like it's a toy that if I'm not super careful, I'm going to strip this screw. Right. I can wrench on this thing. I can do what I need to get it done, and that's.
Well, until a few years ago, airsoft guns were Swiss clocks made of Swiss cheese. Yeah. And that's not true anymore. Look,
that's a really
for me, the big thing is performance to dollar, right?
Yep.
It's accessibility to the highest level of performance in the sport. If you buy an MTW and you want to recreate that from traditional airsoft parts in a drop-in kit. Now, I understand people want an aesthetic, a different experience, they have a different application, all that's great. I have guns that are not MTWs. But if I had a 10-inch MTW sitting in front of me and you came to me and said, hey, can you build me this, but out of, this Crytek or this SEMA or whatever, yes, I can. I can get you to a point where you have 90% of the durability and 100% of the performance of the MTW. Guess what? It's going to cost you double or more because I'm going to have to put set screws in it. I'm going to have to reinforce the body. I'm going to have to spend hours and hours tuning the thing and getting it right. It's going to require a custom hop-up. It's going to require all this stuff. The MTW, pick it up, battery, airline, BBs, and 99% of the time they're going to be perfect. They're going to shoot laser beams and they're going to outperform almost everything else. And that's it. There just is no better value for the performance. I haven't seen anything that even comes close for the money.
That's always been my sort of my philosophy in designing products is how do we because I'm a little different maybe than some people that run companies in that I'm far more willing to figure out how to deliver a high value product than I am to spend a bunch of time and energy developing a marketing scheme to convince you that it's a high value product, even though it's not. I would prefer to just find a way to make a high value product so that when it comes to marketing, and it's not hard, I chuck it against a wall and you go, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, you know,
Yep.
I don't have to come up with some elaborate marketing scheme to convince you that this is better. We just have to show you what it is. We just have to find, you know, marketing amounts to, okay, how do we just communicate what this actually is? Not, you know, trying to convince you that it's something it's not. Here's a question. 416 upper for the MTW. I have questions about this because we theoretically could do it. Ish. Big-ish.
Right.
We can't do the licensing. There is no way on the planet that H&K is going to give us licensing. I've already looked into it. Maybe at some point in the future it might theoretically be possible, but right now they're just way too stingy on their licensing. So I could make an upper that is really close to a 416 upper in terms of like the geometry, but I can't make the trademarks. So how much is that worth? Like, you know, are you willing to build a gun that just has the upper geometry but doesn't have the trademarks? You know, I also have an issue with rails, right? We don't have. I mean, I'd have to create a whole new rail that's a 416 style rail with the taller, you know, top rail height, if we wanted to do complete guns, and it still wouldn't be licensed. It would still all just be 416-ish. You know.
Well, I have a thought about this, which is, you know, this is something I hear all the time, right? 'Cause we demo MTWs and we ask people about them, and we hear the same thing, right? People want an AK, people want an MP5, people want various different models because they like that out of the box, next to no tuning functionality. The problem with that is you have a huge component in terms of design, in terms of licensing, in terms of machining to do these other styles, and it's a little different, the business model, how that works with somebody like SEMA, or how licensing works through Umarex, right? That's not the space that Wolverine's in, at least not as I understand it. What I will say is this. What I was saying earlier about how you can have that same performance, but you're going to pay more, right? The drop-in kits are still excellent. Guys,
Yeah.
right? The Inferno Gen 2 kits,
There's
still
a lot
exist.
of people that still go that way.
Yeah.
A lot of people still go that way.
I actually just built an MP5 like that, which I'm very happy with. But, you know, the point is you can have next to anything you want. If it's got a V2, a 2.5, or a V3 gearbox in it, Wolverine performance, Wolverine reliability are absolutely installable. Now, in that case, you're going to need the right builder, and you're going to need to put a little bit more love and probably a little bit more money into it. But you can get it. You know, 416 is not out of the realm of possibilities. The issue is doing it out of the box. What's the demand for that versus every other M4?
And you know, yeah, it's just you know, at the end of the day, I have to I have to play trade-offs here, you know, because I'm running a business, right? I love airsoft. I've been doing it for years. I enjoy doing this, and I want to do cool stuff, but I can only afford to do cool stuff if I can pay the bills. You know, so it's like I gotta kind of balance the stuff that I really want to do with, you know, what we can actually sell and what we can justify in terms of cost. Because yeah, it's, again, if you're not in the business world, especially like product development world, it's really easy to underestimate how much it costs just to do the development, not even the production, just the development on a, you know, let's say a new upper, right? Because if you have, you know, 100 hours of engineering time, right? Once you get through all the design and all the, you know, setting up the machining, and then you have who knows how many hours of prototyping time on the machine, that machine now can't run production because it's running prototyping. Well, you have to, that's money out of your pocket, right? So it adds up really, really quick. Stuff that it looks from the outside, you're like, oh, this isn't that big a deal. It's really similar. If you actually you actually start adding up, well, you're gonna have to do this, we're gonna have to do that, and we can't do this because we're doing that. Opportunity cost for those of you that are have taken some basic economics. It adds up really, really quick, and we're not we're not a Vietnamese-based machine shop where our billable rates are $10 an hour for an engineer. Yeah, engineering time in the U.S. is freaking expensive.
Well, and no offense to anybody overseas that doesn't do this, and I don't want it to seem like everyone does, but there are a lot of overseas companies and a few domestically that are sort of unscrupulous about where their designs are coming from, right? And you guys are taking the time and trouble to do the engineering in-house instead of ripping somebody off. But that development cost is why you see very low-cost copies of products.
Yep.
Oftentimes coming out the same week or the same month that the original product did.
Not just in airsoft, but in all industries.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see that in tons of industries. It's
especially in clothing and electronics and home goods. I mean, the world is rife with rip-offs. And the reality is, if you want innovation, you're gonna have to pay somebody to innovate.
Yep. And it's a different skill set to manufacture repeatedly, because that's one thing that a lot of companies in the Asian realm have really mastered.
Yep.
Is manufacturing. If you tell them, hey, I want this exact thing, man, they can make that thing for you. Like whatever it is, they'll find a way to make it for you. And as long as you tell them exactly how you want them to make it, they'll make it the same way every freaking time. But we talk about the example of a screw. If in the U.S., if you go to a company and say, hey, I need a screw, they're gonna say, okay, well, here's a screw, and it'll be not terribly expensive, but not super cheap, but it'll be a standard screw, just how it should be. You go to somewhere in Asia and you say, hey, I need a screw, and you don't specify, hey, it needs to be this specific type of screw. Well, you're going to get a rusty screw that they have laying around, and it's going to cost you absolutely nothing because, hey, you didn't specify what you need. We got the cheapest screw that we could possibly get you. It's the same way with anything. If you don't specify exactly what it is you need, they will find the least expensive way to do it, and they will give you the bare minimum that meets what it is you said you needed. So,
that's how you end up with airsoft guns with zinc alloy bodies that crack in half if you look at them wrong.
Are we going to do another Bluetooth FCU? I don't know. That's a totally honest answer. Maybe. They Bluetooth screwed us over and discontinued support for the chip that we are using. And so it's going to cost us another $8,000 just to register the stupid board if we want to do a new design. And so if we're going to go to all that trouble, then we want to design a whole new board and do something, update all the software and all the firmware and just so it's a big project if we want to do it. And we haven't decided yet whether or not we're going to jump into that. Let's see. Update the dealers list in Europe. I'll ping Dalton about that and see what we can do. A lot of European distribution goes through Red Wolf in Spain, so we don't get as good information on sort of up-to-date dealer lists, and certainly not who's selling what. You said a lot of them don't sell MTW. I have no information on that, which dealer sells what in a lot of Europe. We do sell directly to some dealers in Europe, but a lot of that goes through Red Wolf in Spain, so it's kind of hard for us to keep that information super up to date. Let's see. Jump back over to Facebook. MDW LMG upper like the Crytek. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like that design personally. That's me.
I have a thought on that, which I hope you won't mind me saying live. But that doesn't need to be an upper, right? That can be a costume kit. You have like a little clamshell thing
Yeah, I
that
guess
bolts on the outside.
that's a thought. Just a totally cosmetic.
Yeah, maybe even 3D print it.
Yeah, make it, an adapter for a belt, simulated. Yeah, that's a thought.
How realistic does it? How
Right.
how true to form do people want it? Do they want a Shrike or something like that, or do they want a specific replica? Because those are two different considerations.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do a support weapon. It's another one though that comes down to I don't know. We talk about this a lot of weeks on the show here. It's something we get requests for frequently, but I don't know how cost effectively we could do it. I sort of feel like if we were going to do it, it would have to be sort of a Gucci product that we make a small quantity of, and it's going to be super expensive. But if you want a super killer, out of the box, ready to go HPA support weapon, then here's your ticket. But I don't know that we can manufacture them efficiently enough, just because of some of the stuff that, in terms of how they're designed. I don't know whether we could manufacture them efficiently enough that we could hit like a really competitive price point. It's kind of funny because like back when I got into airsoft, 15 years ago or so, 15, more than that. No, never mind. Shoot, I'm 20 years ago. Doggone it. I'm getting old. 20 years ago, you went to the airsoft shop and like all the M4 and AK style guns. If you wanted, back then you basically had Classic Army and Tokyo Marui, and then a bunch of cheap knockoffs. And Classic Army and Tokyo Marui were both about $300 for an M4 or an AK or something like that. It was about what it was. If you went Classic Army, you got the metal body. If you went Tokyo Marui, you got the plastic body with whatever fairy dust they sprinkled in there. But then if you wanted an M249, it was like $1,000. Like there was a huge difference in the price point between. But now it's like you can pick up an M249 for the same price you can an M4, and it's kind of maybe a little more. Maybe instead of $350, it's $400. But like, there's not a huge difference in the price anymore, and it's kind of, I don't know. Maybe they just were able to produce them in enough volume that they could bring the price up.
I think there's been some pretty important design change. Now, I'm not an expert on AEGs, but I've seen some stuff where the newer ones have smaller gearboxes that are much more similar to like a standard V2 or 2.5. Versus the old ones used to have this crazy proprietary gearbox with this transverse mounted motor. And it seems like these days it's easier for certain companies to make the internals durable without making them huge.
Right.
So they have less invested in the internals. They're making them more efficiently, using less material. But that's all a guess. I'm not an AEG guy.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. Take a couple more and then we'll probably wrap it. I was going to do a demo for you guys today, and I didn't even have a gun here to do it. Dang it, I was going to show you how the tensioning screw between the upper and lower works, but I didn't even get one in with me, so sorry, I'm a little mixed up today. Things have been crazy. Glenn asks, as always, M249 MTW when? Glenn's one of the guys that works for me.
Right.
He always gets on here, and he wants an M249 MTW.
Well, now I don't feel bad because you're being harassed live by your own staff.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Make an HPA engine to be designed for the TAC-41. I've looked at it. I determined that it is possible to do. I have not had bandwidth to do it. Is just the honest answer. We're, I don't think it's any secret, but while we are still supporting and making improvements on the aftermarket side of things, we're pushing pretty freaking hard on complete gun sort of product lines. So, that's where a lot of my time and focus is right now, as well as on the business side. we're doing a lot of stuff. May have some fun stuff to tell you guys about here in the future. Not too far away, we hope. But, just, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. I have 2 to 3 years probably worth of new products already developed and sort of ready to push out as soon as manufacturing can handle it and the market can handle it. And because if I put 3 new things out all at once, then everybody's only going to buy one of them. If I put one out now and I put one out 6 months from now, then everybody will buy all of them. And that's kind of how it works.
You remember the old Andy Capp cartoons with the fly coming out of his wallet? It used to be this. Anyways, it was an old comic strip back in the day. But the point is, I'm going to end up spending way too much money with you guys.
Yeah, but Brandon says he'll be poor.
Yeah,
cool. Thanks for that.
Brandon, you and me both.
Yeah, I'd like to. It's just it has not made it to the top of my priorities list. This one I'm going to answer this one, and then we're going to wrap up. Will it come? Will we make some sort of recoil system for the MTW, Quake, or something else? This is another one I can honestly say I don't know on. I have a system designed that does that. We have a prototype of it. It works pretty decent. It's all right. It's another thing that just has not made it to the top of the priority list in terms of I don't know, and this honestly comes down to, and I've told you this before, once bitten, twice shy. Everybody told me for like 3 years, if you make a recoil system, everybody will buy it, and I'll buy it, and everybody, whatever. I said, okay, I'll make a recoil system. Then I made it, and not very many people bought it. So I'm like, okay. And I know some things. I know that it was too complicated and too expensive, basically. But what I don't know is how simple and how inexpensive does it need to be for people to actually buy it. So, the new system is less complicated and less expensive, but how are people only willing to spend $50 for a recoil add-on, or are they willing to spend $150? What's the that line where they go, okay, this is actually worth doing, versus, well, that's cool, but I'm not actually going to put it on my gun. And I think that's what a lot of it came down to last time, is people were like, oh, that's really cool, but it's just really not worth it. I'm going to do something else. It's a cool factor, but so I don't know if we'll release it. We might at some point, but I don't have any definite plans. So, don't take my word, as don't take me saying this as a guarantee that we're going to do it. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up today, guys. Thanks for everybody that jumped on, and sorry I've been a little discombobulated. It's how I feel today, so this is just a real reflection of what's going on. Hang on, we got one more I'm going to try here. What's the realistic month I can lay my hands on Billet Tactical and the new regulator in Europe? How do I not miss the next live? Subscribe and set yourself a reminder. And then Billet Tactical, we plan to start shipping in May, but that's when we say start shipping, that means start shipping. It doesn't mean it's going to be everywhere at that date, like the 9mm. We're going to start shipping this month. They're not going to be everywhere this month. There's going to be some that go out this month, and then they're going to continue going out, and probably the majority of people will see them show up at their local shop, if there's any left. We already have dealers that have pre-sold all the ones they ordered and are placing second orders, so, it's, but a lot of shops will start actually getting them probably, middle of next month is sort of a realistic. There's going to be some that go out this month, but, that's just how production works. So when we say start shipping, I'm not guaranteeing that everybody's getting one on that date, because, we're not starting shipping and shipping a container that's 5,000 guns, right? It's just we're going to start shipping them, and as they come through through production, we ship them. So, if you're in Europe, realistically, things take at least a month to get. By the time we ship it, it crosses on the sea turtle, and because everything pretty much has to go ocean freight. So it crosses on the sea turtle and gets there and goes through customs. That's at least another month, realistically. And then it has to get from the distributor to your store or whatever else. So probably July would be my guess by the time you actually see them physically in Europe. Best guess. But we'll see. All right. That's it for today. Thanks for jumping on, guys.
Thanks for having me.
We will see you guys next time. All right, cool. You're muted.
I hope you don't mind me jumping in so
No.
much on the business. But
No, you're good. It helps. It helps. Yeah, it helps having another person that sort of reinforces the stuff I'm saying, because sometimes I think people don't really he's just making excuses because he's running the business and doesn't want to do it or
Right.
whatever else.
Well, people have never done the stuff that you're doing. I mean, everything that you're dealing with touches an industry I've worked in.
Right.
So I get
The
it.
mic's still on.
No.
It's muted
Oh.
now. I'm
I
pleased.
don't know.
All right.
Oh, did I type it wrong?